Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Wild Moon Lacquer. In today's video, we are at the bottom of the barrel. This is our last video in this series of estate nail polish that I got on Facebook Marketplace for $400. The entire haul was over 2,000 bottles. I'll need to get a end count after we're done with this haul and give you guys an official number that will be posted when I do the overall assessment of the entire haul. But today we're going to check out the last few polishes of this last tote in part 39. I'm guessing we're going to be somewhere between 50 and 60 bottles, and I can also still see some cat treats over there. At some point I did spill some cat treats in here, so I've been weeding those out as I find them. But before I get started, if you're not subscribed, make sure to hit the little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. I'm also currently running a celebration giveaway for reaching 2,000 subscribers. So thank you to each and every one of you for being here, for watching the videos, and for subscribing. That really helps me out, helps the channel grow. So I really appreciate it. All right, now let's go ahead and dig in. The first polish that we're going to look at is this little bottle from Pixel, and this one is called Bite My Lip. Okay, we definitely already got a bottle of this. Okay, here we go. So this is the one that I already got, Bite My Lip, and this is the one that we just pulled, another Bite My Lips. So this is another brand that has been a new to me brand from this haul, and so I definitely didn't have this polish in my collection, but I did have it in the D stash, I think mainly just because I feel like I have a number of polishes already in this deeper tone of pink, and it is a smaller bottle with a very short brush, so I did de-stash the first bottle, and I think I'm going to go ahead and stick to that decision and put the second bottle in the de-stash as well. It is a really nice deeper tone of pink, but like I said, I do already have a number in this shade range. I don't feel like I would be missing out by de-stashing this one. So that one was Pixel's Bite My Lip, our second bottle. Next up, we have a Sinful Colors. This one is called Black on Black, and this one is a black polish, as the name would suggest. The name really sounds familiar too. I'm wondering if I do already own a bottle. There it is on the brush and wand. I mean, it's just your basic black cream. Curious though how it would compare to the other black polishes that I already have been keeping. As I mentioned before, with basic white and black polishes, I have been keeping a number from different brands to eventually do a comparison video. There can be differences in, of course, formula, if it's a 1 or 2 coater, if it's slightly squishy, if it's meant to be squishy. You've got your really high quality, very pigmented yet smooth formulas, and then you have your very opaque but kind of chunky, chalky formulas. So I'm curious where this one would land. I will put this in the do I have it pile just to confirm if I do already own a bottle. If I do, it's definitely going to go in the D-stash. I don't need multiple bottles of a black nail polish from a singular brand, but that one was Sinful Colors Black on Black. Next up, we have another completely unlabeled bottle. We ran into one of these, and I feel like I saw it when I was looking for that other one from Pixel. And of course now I can't find it, but we did run into a very similar bottle, just a different color of polish that has no labeling whatsoever. My guess has been on these kind of bottles that they probably came in little gift sets around the holidays that you could get at Ross, Marshalls, and other department stores. So this one, I don't remember what the last color was, but this one is this pearly berry leaning burgundy. It's definitely got a lot of purple in it, and this one has gone a bit chunky. I think you can see that there on the brush part towards the bottom side of that brush. You can see some little chunks. So the formula on this definitely hasn't stayed very smooth, but I don't know, I'll have to see. It might be moving around nicely enough in there to actually still be wearable. I don't think it's at that point where it's unusable. And it is a really nice color. It's just pretty generic with no labeling, although the bottle shape itself and the style of it is rather chic. For me, I really have sort of a pet peeve with unnamed polishes. It just sort of drives me bananas. Same with polishes that are just numbered. I find that to be sort of lazy. I mean, if a company is going to go through the creative process of creating a nail polish, why not add that finishing touch, that label to say this is Bougie Berry or this is Bury Me Bliss. You know, there's a billion different ways to name a polish. And I love names just in general. There are so many things that sound beautiful to say that I just think it's such a shame when a company misses out on the opportunity to name a polish. In any case, because of that reason, I think I will go ahead and destash this one. It is a really pretty color. I just don't think that it is so unique that I would miss having this in my collection. It is very pretty. I mean, look at that shimmer particle that I'm seeing as I'm talking myself into possibly keeping it. In any case, I think I'm going to make myself stick to that first instinct, and that is, while it is a pretty color, it's not exactly something that I think is so extraordinary that I don't have something at least similar enough in my collection. So we're going to go with it. This unknown polish is going to go in the D-stash, so it'll go under U for unknown. Next up, we have one from LA Colors in their Art Deco art line bottle. So this is the kind that has a long brush on it, and this one is called Silver Glitter. Very creative. I think they had a gold one that was also equally creatively named. It's another thing that does sort of grind my gears, as they say. Again, with so many beautiful creative names to go with, the basic ones just sort of fall flat to me. All right, a few more crumbs and cat treats out of the way there. This one does seem to be a bit gloopy. Probably got a little bit, ooh, actually it's a bit in better shape than I thought. Look at those twinkles. So it is still a little bit thick. Similarly with our bottle of gold, there at the end you can see that the brush is sort of wonky, but this is very pretty silver glitter. I'm curious how this glitter would compare to the other silver glitters that I have been keeping. I don't necessarily think I would be using it as intended with this brush. This particular bottle also seems to have a little bit of a potent smell or odor to it. I'm not sure how old this would be. Maybe it's one of those that has more ingredients than we're used to smelling nowadays. But in any case, I like the glitter. I want to at least see how this would compare to the other silver glitters that I already own in my collection or that I've kept from this haul. The likelihood is I wouldn't be putting this directly on my natural nail anyways. I would probably be using it as a topper on top of other polishes, which may or may not provide some sort of a buffer between any of the ingredients in this polish and my nail. In any case, this will go in the keep pile, at least until I can do those comparisons. That was LA Colors Silver Glitter. Our first going in the keep pile. Wow. Okay, next up we have, I believe this is a Sally Hansen. Yeah, Sally Hansen Drama Sheen. Now this is missing its little cap. It would normally have a cap that would continue the line of the polish bottle in the shape here. And this one is a sheer polish. Ooh, sort of this gray jelly base. And look at that purple flash. Oh my goodness, that is lovely. There's also some shifts to this reddy pink and maybe a little bit of gold, which of course is not showing up on camera, but this is really nice. Sort of has that ghostly, mysterious vibe to it. This is stunning. So it's one that I don't think I have. The name does not sound familiar. I actually only have, I think, maybe a handful of Sally Hansen's in this particular line, which is their Triple Shine line in this bottle shape. I lose track of exactly how many bottle lines Sally Hansen has. I want to say they're one of the brands that has like a dozen different bottle shapes and lines, which is kind of aggravating from a collector's standpoint. But I do like this polish. It is really beautiful, so that's going to go in the keep pile. That was Sally Hansen's Drama Sheen. Next up, we have one from Revlon, and this one is called Teak Rose. Ooh, this is beautiful. So Revlon has really been knocking it out of the park with some colors that I really, really like for fall. This particular shade reminds me of a color that I was trying to find from a particular boutique brand a few years ago that they were calling like Rosewood or something. And this one sort of has that same vibe. It is this deeper mauve-y kind of brown leaning color. Really gorgeous. I love this kind of color for fall. So this is definitely going in the keep pile. I don't think I own this one. Of course, at the end of all of this, when I do that sorting video and then do comparisons to my own collection, we'll catch any discrepancies. If I forgot that I owned a bottle, then we can correct that. But yeah, going in the keep pile. This is just beautiful. So that was Revlon's Teak Rose. Next up, we have another Sally Hansen and another bottle shape. This one is called Crushed. And this is a beautiful, juicy summer orange. Look at that. So it is a shimmer polish. I'm guessing that this is going to be a bit on the squishy side. It does need quite a bit of cleanup there on the neck. Look at that juicy, juicy formula. Wow. That is a beautiful tone. This is a very saturated tone of orange as well, and it is one that I don't think I own yet. Again, this is another color family that I know I'm going to have to do comparisons of. However, these summer shades of orange are not ones that I've been collecting for as long as my fall shades of orange, so this could still be pretty unique in my collection, but we'll have to see. In any case, that was Sally Hansen's Crushed, going in the keep pile. Next up, we have an OPI in very serious need of some shaking, and this one is Dusk Over Cairo. And I've unburied some more cat treats. So after a good shake, here is what we are left with. This is kind of a peachy brown. It's another that I think I would classify as more of a fall shade because it is definitely a dustier shade. Let's go ahead and see it on the brush. Might even be kind of a sheerer polish. It is a little bit on the slightly chunky side, not necessarily thickened, just on that brush I think you can see some of the clumps, but for the most part it is shook up quite nicely. I am curious how this one would look on the nail. With these colors, they tend to be sort of hit or miss for me. Either I absolutely adore them or they just aren't saturated enough to stand out against my nail. But I am curious enough about this one to at least swatch it and see. It seems like it might be one of their older polishes, so the likelihood is I don't already own a bottle. So that's going to go in the keep pile. That was OPI's Dusk Over Cairo. Next up, we have another OPI, and this one is called Grand Central Carnation. And this one is a deep rose with a pinch of a brown lean. And look at that shimmer. That is beautiful. So this is another older polish. The likelihood is I don't already own a bottle. There it is on the brush and wand. This one seems to be a creamier formula, and I love that tone with that shimmer. That strikes me as a pretty unique combination. And I love this color family. So that's going to go in the keep pile as well. That one is OPI's Grand Central Carnation. Next up, we have a Wet n Wild in their Fast Dry line, and this one is called Everybody Loves Redmond. And this one appears to be a bright tomato red. It's got that pinch of an orange quality, which is why I say tomato red as opposed to a lipstick red. There it is on the brush and wand. Seems to be kind of a squishy formula as well. So with reds, as you've probably heard me say a gazillion times at this point, reds are not exactly my favorite, although I have been keeping quite a number in different formulas. More specifically, I've been keeping the micro glitters or the deeper berry leaning reds or burgundy shades are definitely ones that I enjoy. This tone, however, is just not one that I see myself really reaching for. So this one's going to go in the D stash. That one is Wet n Wild's Everybody Loves Redmond. Next up, we have a julep, and this one is called Emmanuel. And this one appears to be a very light blush pink, although my camera is washing out what very little pigment it does have. Don't get me wrong, it is a very, very light pink, and on the brush you can see that it is a squishy, sheerish color. So colors like this I know can look really nice on. I feel like I just have been keeping a number at this point. I've kept a handful from this haul alone, and I know I got in one of my Goodwill bags alone like a handful of at least 3 in this similar vibe, let's just say, of a squishy like French manicure kind of a polish where it's a peach or pink but very, very unpigmented and very sheer. So I don't feel like the need to have another one of these. So this one's going to go in the D stash. That one was Julep's Emmanuel. Next up, we have another Pure Ice. This one is called Iced Merlot. And this is another beautiful, larger particled shimmer in that deep berry shade of a wine. Let's see it on the brush. Oh yeah, that is beautiful. Lots of twinkles. There's some pink in there. I think some silver. That is another really gorgeous color. This is another brand that I have been keeping whenever I find a color that I like from them because they no longer make polish, and that's one I don't think I already own in my collection, so that's a keeper. That one is Pure Ice's Iced Merlot. Next up we have another Sally Hansen in their Extreme Wear line, and this one is called Purple Potion, and I think I might have this one. The name sounds familiar, and I want to say I do have a number in this formula from them. Oh yeah, this is a beautiful, deep, sort of eggplant purple that has a blue shimmer. That is absolutely gorgeous. So if I don't already own a bottle, this will go in the keep pile. If I do, it'll go in the D-stash. That was Sally Hansen's Purple Potion. Next up, we have a little OPI mini bottle, and this one has no name. It is sort of this deep berry shade, like a fall tone of a berry. There's some purple and fuchsia, maybe even like a burgundy shimmer in here. I think on camera it's even catching the light in a blue, so very pretty color. I'm curious what the name of this one might be. It strikes me as a color that I would like in a full-size bottle because that is very pretty. So I think what we're going to do, surprisingly enough, is put this in the keep pile. I want to see if I can't find out what polish this is and compare it maybe to a few already in my collection to see if I already own a bottle. If not, it might have to go on a wish list if it stands out enough among all of the other berry shades that I already have in my collection. But very, very pretty color there. So that is a little mini unknown OPI. Next up, we have another Sally Hansen in their Triple Shine line. This one also has no cap. This one is called Dive In. I used to do that for all of my Butter Londons as well because I kept little nail rings on all of my bottles, and you can't really do that when you have this bulky lid attached to the bottle. But this one is a like muted but slightly bright sky blue. In fact, on camera, it is just amping this up like times 3. It is not that vibrant, at least on my screen as I'm filming. It is definitely a dusty sky blue. Not really that exciting. I feel like with this tone of blue, I prefer it to be very, very bright like you were seeing on camera, or at least as I was seeing on my screen. That color I probably would have kept. This color though is just sort of not exciting to me, so I will be putting this one in the D-stash. That one was Sally Hansen's Dive In. Next up, we have another from Revlon. This one is in their Color Stay line, and this one is called Fall Mood. And this one is a beautiful copper shimmer. There's also some pink and silver larger particled shimmer in there. So this one would of course be a very good fall polish, as the name would suggest. There it is on the brush and wand. Very coppery, almost has a pinch of a bronze quality to it as well. And apologies if a lot of this is out of focus. My camera seems to not want to focus on the polish right in front of it so far in this video, which is really annoying. But yeah, this is a very nice color, and I don't think I have this one. Again, I'll do that sorting at the end and comparisons to my own collection just to make sure that I haven't inadvertently kept any polish I already own or duplicate bottles. But that one will go in the keep pile. That one was Revlon's Fall Mood. Next up, we have a crumb-covered bottle. Next up, we have another OPI in a vampy shade. This one is Midnight in Moscow. Very pretty color. You've got this inky, almost blackened base with a very prominent wine shimmer. That is very pretty. That is very, very vampy. Holy moly. Definitely Midnight. That is so neat. So this is one that I don't think I own. Again, it seems like this might be an older bottle of OPI, so I probably don't already own one in my collection. So this one's going to go in the keep pile. I'll have to do some swatches and see how I end up liking it on, because this is, again, a kind of a color family that I was destashing quite a lot of. When it's so dark in the base, it's a blackened jelly of some sort, whether it's an actual black polish or a very, very deep green or an incredibly deep dark blue. Oftentimes what I was finding is I just didn't really reach for them as often as I thought I would early on in my collecting, but I'm curious enough about this one with that really interesting deep red glow to it that I want to see how I might like it. So we're going to put that one in the keep pile. That one was OPI's Midnight in Moscow. Next up, we have this little guy from Lancome. Is it actually nail polish? I don't think this is nail polish. Hang on. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure this is eyeshadow. So there you go. a little Lancome eyeshadow powder in Silver Stiletto. So that's going to go in the beauty products. Again, I'm going to have to look into seeing if that is safe to reuse. It does look like it's in the type that would basically sprinkle out. So the likelihood is maybe it's okay. But again, I'm going to have to look into how I would make sure that that was sanitized properly. But it is a very nice, like champagne-y pink color, and it does have that nice silver sheen to it. So that was an unexpected Lancome eyeshadow going in the can I reuse it pile. Next up, we have a MAC. This one is in the kind of lid that gets very sticky and gross, but this one is called Air de Pink, and it is sheer. And oddly enough, it is not pink even remotely. As it is now, it is definitely like an eggnog color. Not my favorite. Yeah, I think even if it faded a little bit, you see the color there on the neck, that's only pigmented ever so slightly more than this, and I still wouldn't classify it as a pink. Maybe a peach, a very, very, very faded yellow leaning peach. But as you can see there on the brush, it is incredibly sheer, as they said it would be. This is probably another polish that is meant to be worn sort of as a barely there color on your nails, and with this tone of it, I just really don't see myself reaching for it. So I think this is going to go in the D stash. I think it is our first MAC though of the haul. I'd have to double check on that, but I think it might be our first MAC. In any case, that one is Air de Pink going in the D stash. Next up, we have a little guy from Sinful Colors. This one is called Out of This World. Now, I think we got a full-size bottle of this. Yeah, I want to say we got a full-size bottle of this in this tote, and of course, I can't find it. So I'm not sure if I ended up keeping it or destashing it. I think I may have destashed it, but again, with this type, it is a little bottle, so I haven't really been keeping too many little bottles, although I will say I have been keeping a few. This one is mostly a very white-leaning silver with a load of shimmer. You can see speckles of green and pink throughout, so I want to see if I can't find that. I mean, this strikes me as a color that I would like to at least try for winter, but I could also have seen this being a color that I destashed, so I'm just not sure where to dig for it. In any case, I think what we're going to do, since this one is a little bottle, is put this in the destash. And again, as I've said before, at the end of this, we will do a sorting video of all of the polishes. I will give myself a chance to go through the destash one more time just to make sure that I haven't changed my mind on some of them, because it happens. I mean, this has been quite a lengthy process. We started this in, I think, April, and it's now August. And over the course of my editing these videos, I've definitely seen some go into the destash that as I'm editing, I'm like, ooh, that's a very pretty color. I think that'll go in the keep pile. And then it doesn't. And I'm like, oh, well, how time changes things in such a short period of time. In any case, this one is going to go in the destash. That one is a little bottle of Sinful Colors Out of This World. Next up, we have an Essie. This one is called East Hampton Cottage. And this one is an off-white, again, sort of like a very, very light eggnog with a silver sheen to it. So again, with this sort of a color, it doesn't exactly strike me as a color that I would be drawn to. This one is another in a sheerer formula. It's less yellow, though, than I feel that other one was. The one from MAC definitely had much more of an eggnog tone by comparison. The Essie has more of maybe a peach tone to it, which makes it maybe something that I could possibly see myself reaching for, at least over a color like that MAC. Yeah, you know what? I think I want to see how I might like this one. It's not exactly the most exciting color, but I could see this one looking nice in winter, and I'm curious how it would look on my skin tone. Again, I don't keep too many colors like this that have that ever so slightly yellow lean, but again, when I compared it to that MAC, this one is maybe a bit more on the peach side, so it's possible it might not lean yellow. So I want to see how that looks. That one will go in the keep pile. That one was Essie's East Hampton Cottage. Next up, we have a Nicole by OPI in Miss Independent. Now, this is one I know I have. I think I got it in the salon haul of nail polish that had a whole lot of OPIs and C&Ds, and I did keep it. So I already own a bottle of this in my collection. This one is a really pretty color, though. I feel like on camera it's washing out a bit of that pink tone, but if you can see this pink over here, that's more what the overall color looks like. It's sort of this blushy, light purple metallic. You have this load of that metallic particle in there as well as shimmer. So very pretty color, but I don't need two. So this will go in the D stash. That was Nicole by OPI's Miss Independent. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Pink Friday. And this one is actually a nice little shade of pink here. So it's, again, maybe not the most exciting color, but it is a bit more saturated in person than I feel like it's coming across on camera. I don't know what my camera has been doing with some of these colors. With colors like this pink, it desaturates them. With that blue from Sally Hansen, it amplifies it. So it's very strange, but both of these I would classify in that sort of a pastel range. And yeah, just very strange what my camera is trying to do to these colors. But in any case, this is a really nice shade of pink. Maybe on the brush ever so slightly more saturated than it is on the exterior of the bottle. But this is one that I would like to at least see how it compares to some of the other lighter shades of pink that I already have in my collection or that I've kept. This particular family of pinks is one that's only recently begun to grow on me this year. In fact, within the last few months, I've actually worn this kind of a pink, again, in the same color family, but maybe not this exact tone of pink, and just really enjoyed it on. So I want to see how this compares, see if it stands out among the other ones that I already own, and this is another one that I definitely don't have in my collection yet. So that's going to go in the keep pile. That was OPI's Pink Friday. Next up, we have a very old CoverGirl. Holy moly. So this one is in their Nail Slicks line that has a built-in top coat, and this one is called Cherries Jubilee. Now this one, as you can see, still has a lot of separation going on. I gave this quite a good shake, but it still needs more of a shake. In any case, oh wow, this is not what I was expecting actually. From the exterior of the bottle, I was expecting it to be more of a berry shade, but it's more of a cherry shade, like leaning towards a black cherry, but still a bit more vibrant than a true black cherry. That I think I want to go ahead and add to the keep pile to at least compare to other colors that I have, see how I might like it on. That is a very nice color. So that is, I think, one of our older polishes that we found. That is CoverGirl's Cherries Jubilee. Next up, ooh, we have another fall shade from OPI. This one is called Schnapps Out of It. And this is another beautiful toffee color. I love these shades for fall. Let's just compare it to the other OPI, which was Dusk Over Cairo. They will have different finishes. I think Schnapps Out of It has more of a creamy formula compared to Dusk Over Cairo, which has more of a maybe slightly sheer shimmer formula going on. The Schnapps is also a couple shades deeper. So, oh, this is beautiful. So I will say this is sort of reminding me of one of the Revlons that we found in this tote. Another beautiful toffee color. So I'll have to see how they end up comparing when I do the sorting and comparisons video, but this is lovely. I love this kind of color. This is definitely going in the keep pile. Again, I will have to do some comparisons just to make sure that I don't already own something that's just a dead-on dupe in my collection, but this is stunning. It's a keeper. That one is OPI's Schnapps Out of It. Next up, we have another Revlon. This is actually one of their newer bottles, at least compared to this one. Slightly different generations. And this one is called Silver Screen. This one does appear to have spilled at some point, so it needs a little bit of a cleanup. But this one is a very interesting silver chromy polish with maybe a pinch of like a purple lean to that metallic. This is definitely a kind of polish that I want to see compared to the other chromy polishes that I already own in my collection. One that I have, I think it was like a caption polish that was a very nice bright silver. This one strikes me as being sort of a middle ground silver where you've got a deeper tone to it. As you can see around the edges, you've got that darkness that you start to see. So I'm curious how it would compare. I have really enjoyed using that caption polish as an accent nail. So this is going to go in the keep pile, at least to do those comparisons of and see if I end up keeping more. But that one is Revlon's Silver Screen. Next up, we have a Sally Hansen and their Color Therapy line, and this one is called Slicks and Stones, and we have another beautiful shimmery polish. Look at that. This is in a very deep, maybe even blackened base, or maybe just deep purple. Oh yeah, maybe a deeper purple, and it has loads of purple and copper flecks in it in a larger particled shimmer. Wow. So this does appear to have some dried polish on the neck. It's a little bit harder to open, but that is absolutely gorgeous. I love the deep tone of purple and those twinkles. Whew, that is gorgeous. Oh yeah, this is one that I know I don't have, and this is a stunning color, so that's going in the keep pile. That was Sally Hansen's Slicks and Stones. Next up we have an Essie, and this one is called Snap Happy, and this one is a red. Let's see, how does it compare to the Wet n Wild? I think maybe there you can see, maybe, probably on camera these are coming off as identical, but in person I'm definitely seeing that orange lean to the Wet n Wild. There's also a bit more of a creamy nature to the one from Essie, so I'm curious how this one would look. I actually think I might end up keeping this. Okay, maybe it's got some clumps on the neck. Trying not to let that go into the bottle. But there it is on the brush and wand. Maybe not as creamy as I thought it would be. Well, now I'm very curious. Again, with reds, I am rather particular, but I like this one for some reason. Like I mentioned, I have been keeping a few reds here and there. I think I kept some OPIs. I know I kept some Zoyas and possibly some others, maybe a julep or two. I think this one could look really cute on. So again, I'm trying to dip my toe into these brighter shades of red, and I want to see how this one compares. So that'll go in the keep pile. That one is Essie's Snap Happy. Next up we have another Essie. This one is in their Luxe Effects line, and this one has lost its little label, but I'm pretty sure I know which one this is. This one is like something about silver platters, and this one is a silver glitter topper. There's a couple of different sizes of silver glitter, but I do think I already own a bottle. So even though I do want to compare my silver glitters, I'm pretty sure I already own a bottle of this one. So this one's going to go in the D stash. That one is, I think, something silver platter from Essie. Next up, we have a liquid sand polish from OPI. This one is called Can't Let Go. Okay, this is another one that definitely sounds familiar. I am pretty sure we've either already found one in this haul, or I found one in another mystery box or haul that I got from maybe Goodwill. So this is another one that's going to go in the D stash, since I'm pretty sure I already kept a bottle of it. It is really neat though. It is a bunch of different glitter. Because it is a sand effect, you're going to get that textured look, kind of like a pixie dust from Zoya. This one has chunkier glitter in it as well. So it is very pretty, but I don't need two bottles, so that's going to go in the D stash. That was OPI's Can't Let Go. Next up, we have a Sephora by OPI, and this one is called Havana Dreams. And this one is a very, very, very light blue. This one has a lot of white in it. Again, I feel like my camera is wanting to amp up the color a bit. Maybe not as much as it was doing for that Sally Hansen, but this is an incredibly white, heavy, light blue polish, and I'm just not thinking I would be very drawn to wearing it. So we're going to put this one in the D stash as well. That is Sephora by OPI's Havana Dreams. Next up, we have another OPI. This one is called Daytona Red, and oh my goodness. So this one is a very deep, almost brown leaning wine or oxblood shade. Ooh, very pretty. I think it's a squishy formula. Yeah, look at that. How interesting. So this is definitely going in the keep pile. I am incredibly curious how this one would look on, because most of the oxblood deeper tones like this that I have in my collection are a bit more opaque than this, probably more along the lines of a cream or maybe an ever so slightly squishy crelly, but this one seems to be a flat out jelly, which I'm very curious about. So I'll have to look into whether or not that was intentional or if this got thinned down just a lot, but we'll see how it goes. It's one that I know I don't have, so that's going in the keep pile. That one is OPI's Daytona Red. Next up, we have one from the Color Workshop, and this one is unlabeled as well. Again, what I'm pretty sure these came from is those little gift sets that you can get from a lot of different department stores around the holidays, and I don't know if any of them ever come with names, but this one is another deep tone of red. Maybe not as deep as I was giving it credit for. It might end up being just a deeper cherry red, but still kind of something that I would classify as more of a brighter shade of red. Maybe like a classic lipstick red. Yeah, with reds, I'm still not that fantastic about describing them. But in any case, I feel like I've kept quite a number in this color range. I don't feel the need to keep an unlabeled bottle, so this will go in the D stash. That is an unknown red from the Color Workshop. Next up, we have one from Salon Perfect in their Neon Pop line, and this one is in mint condition. So this is another one that I'm pretty sure I already have. I think I got it at Walmart when they had these pastel neons or bleached neons come out one year. I'm pretty sure I got a blue one, and I think I got the mint. So I don't need another one in my collection. This one will go in the D stash. That was Salon Perfect's in mint condition. Next up, we have a purple from OPI, and this one is called Do You Have This Color in Stockholm? Ooh, that's a classic, and I don't think I own it yet. Woohoo! So this one is a really nice shade of purple. Again, with my purples, I know I'm going to have to do some comparisons, but this is one that I know I don't have. Again, I feel like this is a classic color that you hear a lot of collectors talking about. There you can see it on the brush and wand. Oh, that is lovely. So I feel like on camera, it's kind of deepening it a touch. It's making it look more like an indigo, but it's definitely a deep grapey purple. That is very lovely. So I think you can see it coming. This is going in the keep pile. That is OPI's Do You Have This Color in Stockholm? Next up, we're going to do both of these at the same time. Oh, never mind. I thought they were two Ultas, but I think we have another Lancome eyeshadow. This one is called Little Black Dress. So this will go in the same pile as that other Lancome eyeshadow, and we will see if it is safe to reuse. So our little Ulta is another one that is unlabeled. Again, I'm pretty sure this comes in little gift sets around the holidays, and we have another burgundy shade. So it is a really pretty color. I think I did keep one of these, at least one of these already. I don't remember what color it was, to be honest, but this is another sort of a velvety red. It's got that deep tone around the edges, and actually look at that. You definitely have a berry base to that. You've got that purpley tone. I feel like I have kept a number in this color range though, so I don't feel the need to keep a mini bottle that doesn't have a name. So we're going to go ahead and put that one in the D stash. That is an unknown burgundy from Ulta. Next up, we have a base coat from Professional. This is similar to that one that I kept. I can't find it either. I think it might have been just a Professional top coat, but in any case, this one is in really good working order. I mean, it's practically water. It's a very interesting consistency, but it is a base coat, and I do use base coats all the time. So this one will go in the keep pile as well. I'll have to come back and see if this ends up being a base coat that I like or not. But again, unknown brand. It just says Professional. I don't know if that's the company or not. That strikes me as kind of a vague description, but in any case, that's a base coat. Go in the keep pile. Next up, we have, we've got a little CoverGirl. This is a kind of a mini bottle, but I remember this entire collection, I think, came out in mini bottles for some reason. This is in their Outlast Stay Brilliant Gloss Teenies. So yeah, just an entire line of minis. This one was purchased at Fred Meyer, and this one is called Rouge Red or Rogue Red. So this one is kind of a fiery orange leaning red, and well, it's kind of hard to open in these tiny little bottles. There's a lot of gold and that orangey, rusty flair to this, but it is very sparkly. Just trying to decide if I could see myself wearing this, and I think I can. For this kind of a color, I think it would look really beautiful in fall. It looks like sort of fire on the nails, so that's going to go in the keep pile. I think I only ended up getting one from this collection when it released, and I can't off the top of my head remember which one I got, but I don't think it was this one. So that one is CoverGirl's Rogue Red, going in the keep pile. Next up, we have another one of these unlabeled bottles. And I remember doing that to the first one that I got, so I know we ran into it before. I just can't find it. But this one is sort of a mauve-y grandma shade. Now, I love colors like this, but I do feel like I've kept quite a number, and I already owned a number in my collection, so I don't feel the need to keep an unlabeled, unknown bottle. So this one will go in the D-stash as well. It appears to be a cream formula. So again, it'll go under U for unknown. All right. Let's get those in the middle so we can see what we're dealing with. Next up we have an Orly from their Color Blast line, and this one is called Khaki, and it is their Luxe Shimmer. So it's an interesting name for this because I would almost call this more of a taupe. It's got that latte foam sort of a color going on. There's a lot of shimmer in here, very pretty color. This is one that I think I would like on these sort of a deeper tones of grays or taupes. I do find very flattering on, and I don't think this is one that I own yet, so that's going to go in the keep pile. That was Orly's Khaki. Ooh, next up we have a bright pink from Sinful Colors. This one is called Fusion Neon. So this is definitely a neonish pink, although I don't know if it has maybe faded because neons do have a tendency of fading. Let's see, there on the neck, I think you can see some of the dried polish, so it's actually not faded all that much. There on the brush and wand, you can still see that it is a very bright shade of pink. Yeah, I want to see how this compares to the other bright neons that I have in my collection in pinks. Again, this particular shade of a neon pink is also one that has only recently grown on me. The deeper fuchsias were definitely ones that I started liking a few summers ago, but these straight up neon bright pinks, I've started liking this year and maybe late last year. But yeah, I sort of classify this as a color I've started to like this year, so I should still be fairly unique to my collection. So that's going to go in the keep pile. That was Sinful Colors Fusion Neon. Next up we have another OPI in need of shaking. This one is called Fly. That seems like a short name. So this one is still going to require some good shaking, but here we go. This is a turquoise cream. There it is on the brush and wand, sort of a turquoise or teal. You've got that mix of a blue and green. Very nice cream color. The name also doesn't sound familiar from OPI, so I definitely don't have it already. Now, again, with these turquoisey teal colors, especially in a cream, I could easily see myself already owning a color similar, so we're definitely going to have to do comparisons, but for the time being, that'll go in the keep pile. That was OPI's Fly. Next up, we have another OPI, also in need of a shake, and this one is Maud About You. And this one is a very interesting light pink that has like a pinch of a purple quality to it. That is adorable. So it's a pastel, but it's got a brightness to it at the same time. This could look absolutely adorable on. Now again, with this color, it is a light color, but I don't think it's quite as white leaning as my camera is portraying it to be. There's just a pinch more pink to it. This is another one that would go in the keep pile, but the name does sound familiar. I think it's possible I already ran into it, so this will go in the Do I Have It pile, just to make sure that I don't already own a bottle. That one was OPI's Maud About You. Next up, we have another OPI, and this one is called Midnight Blue Glitter. And this one is an interesting color. Look at that. Oh my goodness. So I can't tell if those are little iridescent glitters. I think they might be, because they all seem to be a pretty uniform shape, but I'm seeing dark blues, I'm seeing purples and aquas, all in this very deep charcoal base. Wow, that is beautiful. So it is a darker color. Oh, look at that. It actually might be squishy, as you can see there on the wand, but such beautiful twinkles. So pretty. So this is another one that I might not actually like once I swatch it, but that is beautiful. I mean, again, even with the colors that I have destashed, I usually find something that I like about them. It's just a matter of if I would wear it or not, but the twinkles that are in this are just gorgeous. So that's going to go in the keep pile, at least until I can do those comparisons and swatches. That one is OPI's Midnight Blue Glitter. Next up, ooh, look at this. We found a missing label. Who did this come from? Hannah Coast. Offhand, I'm actually not sure who that would have belonged to. It's got a scan like barcode and everything, so it's possible I might be able to figure it out. It doesn't look like an OPI label. We'll set that aside and see if I can't figure that out. But this one is another OPI, and this is OPI Red. Interesting. Okay, wait a second. Is this the first color OPI came out with? Probably not in this labeling, but I thought I saw something recently about OPI, and I never thought about how they started because they're a huge salon brand, but the picture that I saw was like from the very beginning of OPI, and it was Susie sitting at her desk, and she was wearing the first color and she said it was red. Now, I don't know if I didn't realize that OPI was part of the name, but in any case, it's very possible this is the very first color OPI came out with, or I'm just completely off base. In any case, that's sort of exciting. This is a very nice shade of red. It's got that sort of a fuchsia berry lean, which you probably can tell I already like in these red shades. There you can see it on the brush and wand. It's almost got a shimmery quality to it. Not a straight up cream polish. So yeah, this is going to go in the keep pile. I want to at least see how it compares to the other reds that I've been keeping, and of course see how I might like it, but it's got that pinky lean to it that I do really like, so that's going to go in the keep pile as well. That is OPI's OPI red. All right, next up we have another OPI red, and this one has lost its label. Now, again, we did find a label, but that does not strike me as an OPI label. Yeah, that doesn't quite fit. So I'm not sure which color this one might be, but this one is a creamy looking red that has a golden glimmer to it. So again, similarly as with that other OPI, I think I want to see how this one might look. There you can see it on the brush and wand. You do kind of see the glimmer in there, but it doesn't really add a very golden pop, which I'm okay with. And then just to compare this somewhat tomatoey color to the what I called tomato red from Wet n Wild, I think you can see the difference tonally there. There's more of a creamy, deeper tone of red, and there's much more of an orange to the Wet n Wild. So I'm going to surprise myself again and add another OPI red to my keep pile. So with this one, I will have to figure out which polish it is, but yeah, that's going to go in the keep pile for the time being, at least until I can do those swatches of all of those reds, but that's OPI's Unknown. Next up, we have another Sinful Colors, and this one is called Green Ocean. Okay, I know I already have this, and it is an incredibly unique polish, especially from a mainstream. It is this very squishy green with these amazing flakies and glitter. Look at the twinkles. So pretty. Now, this is an instance where I might actually allow myself to keep a backup because this is very unusual. I haven't seen anything come out from even indies like this, so the fact that it came out from a mainstream is very rare to me. So this one I might actually go ahead and put in my keep pile. I might come back and talk myself out of it, but for the time being it is going to go in the keep pile. It's just an incredibly unique polish. There on the brush you can see all of those beautiful twinkles from the glitter and those flakies. You can also see that it is going to be very, very sheer, but you could always use this as a topper, which is what I would do with this polish. So yeah, very, very unique polish. Going in the keep pile. That was Sinful Colors Green Ocean. Next up, we have another Sally Hansen in their Extreme Wear line, and this one is called Hot Tamale. And this one is a vibrant orange. Wow. So I can't quite tell if it's just a straight up orange. There's almost like a deeper corally salmon lean to this, but I can't tell if that's just because my bottle needs to be mixed up a little bit more. But it is going to be a slightly squishier formula, as you can see there on the brush and wand. I think I do want to at least see how this one might compare to any other summery oranges that I already have in my collection and see how I might like this on. It's also in a cream formula, so this could make a really nice undie for other colors. So that's going to go in the keep pile. That is Sally Hansen's Hot Tamale. Next up, we have another LA Colors in their Art Deco art line, and this one is another very creative name. It is white. So yeah, they're just not very creative on their names. Again, sort of a pet peeve of mine, but that's okay because I don't use these very often. I think I mentioned it before when I unboxed the first one of these, that the last bottle that I intentionally bought of this type of a polish, where it has that art brush, that very long painterly art brush, that the bottle that I owned dried out before I could even use it. So that goes to show you how often I reach for this kind of a bottle. So this is going to go in the D-stash. Seems to be moving around pretty nicely, although it does need a good shake. But that is LA Colors White. Next up, we have a C&D Vinylux. I don't recall if we've actually gotten any C&D Vinylux in this haul. I know I got quite a few just C&Ds before they had their Vinylux line in the Salon haul, but I can't recall if we got any in this haul. This one is called Plum Paisley. And this one is a deep purple with some shimmer. It's almost like it's got a squishy formula to it, a little bit on the sticky side, in fact. So might need a bit of thinner to help it out. But there on the brush, hopefully you can see a bit of that tone. On my camera anyways, it's coming off as such a deep purple that I would almost say it's looking black on camera. So hopefully you can see that tone a bit on your screen. But I'm wondering if I already own a bottle of this. Again, we did get quite a lot of C&D polishes in that other haul. So maybe what I'll do is put this in the Do I Have It pile. We'll check and see if I do already own a bottle. If not, it'll go in the Keep pile to at least do those comparisons that I need to do. If I do already own a bottle, it'll go in the D stash. So that was C&D Vinylux's Plum Paisley. Next up, we have another OPI, and this one is called Royal Flush Blush. And this one is a very, very light peachy pearl. And this is another color I just don't think would look very flattering on my skin tone. It's a little bit too desaturated, and while I do think that that pearl is kind of flattering in this light color, I think I did end up keeping one that is kind of in the same color range, except it was from Essie, and I think instead of being such a desaturated color, there was a bit more pigmentation to it. So this one's going to go in the D stash. That one was OPI's Royal Flush Blush. Next up, we have another from Trust Fund Beauty, and this one is Elegantly Wasted. And this is another one I know I already have. I got this one the same time as I got I'm Kind of a Big Deal from eBay. I think the store was having like a sale. They were $5 a piece. So I do already own a bottle. It is sort of that chewed up grape bubblegum color, maybe a bit on the gray side. Whoops. Okay, so again, when this happens, basically you just put your cap back on ever so slightly, although this one's not really fitting very nicely, and then just give it a little wiggle. That will loosen up your cap from the stuck position. Then all you do is screw your cap back onto your bottle, tight but not too tight. You don't want to over tighten it and then break the threads on the bottle. Or you can also break off the threads on the brush, which then ruins the brush. You cannot reuse it. So either way, you get a ruined polish bottle. But here it is on the brush and wand. You've got that sort of gray leaning chewed up grape bubblegum. This one sort of has a blue pinch to it as well. But like I said, I do already own a bottle, so this one will be going in the D stash. That was Trust Fund Beauty's Elegantly Wasted. Next up, we have a Maybelline, and this one is called Ivory in Seconds. And this is another one kind of in that same range as that Essie and the MAC, where it's sort of a sheer your nails but better. Now I don't know if this is a sheer necessarily, but as far as the color range goes, you've got this sort of a peachy yellow leaning off white. Obviously we have different shades of it. The one in the Essie, when compared to the MAC, was more peach leaning. However, I think you can see there that new Maybelline is definitely even peachier than those other two. So I kept the Essie, destashed the MAC. As far as this Maybelline goes, they're calling it Ivory, which I guess could be a good description. And it is going to be a squishy formula, but not as sheer as those other colors. But yeah, same thing. I mean, I just really don't see myself reaching for a color like this very often. And I do already have a couple for that off chance that I might need it or might use it for undies or nail art or what have you. So this is going to go in the D stash. That one is Maybelline's Ivory in Seconds. Next up, we have a red from Wet n Wild, and this one is Red Red. And yes, it is a red. This one I would say is more like a cherry red. It's got that pinch of a berry lean to it. It is a cream formula. This I think could also be classified as sort of a deep lipstick red. It is a nice shade actually. So you know what? I'm going to surprise myself and add a fourth, if not fifth red to the keep pile from this haul. Maybe if we count the CoverGirl, that's like the sixth red, but this is going to go in the keep pile. I want to at least see how this compares to all of the other red tones. And again, most likely I will not be keeping all of these reds long term, but I do want to see which ones I might like on, if any, and go from there. But that'll go in the keep pile. That is a Wet n Wild Red Red. All right, time to move the rest into the pile again. And oh my goodness, we have two more lost labels. A teeny tiny one 408. I think that might have come off of a Wet n Wild. And then this one, I'm pretty sure, is an OPI. So maybe the one that lost its label might be Belize It or Not. That seems to fit. What do you guys think? Let me know. Okay, moving on. Next up, we have an Island Girl. And this one also lost its label, but you know what? Hannah Coast seems to fit quite nicely. I would guess that that probably came from this one because I'm pretty sure that's the kind of labeling that other Island Girl polishes that I found had. And this is a beautiful bright mint. This is lovely. Okay, so this bottle definitely has faded. You can see that on the neck. It used to be a lot greener. Now, my camera, for whatever reason, again, with colors, I don't know what it's doing. It's green. It is a mint green. On camera, I feel like it's pulling more like a pool summer blue, but it is definitely a mint. I also got a wonky brush there. Look at that. Very fun. But in any case, the color is very nice. I do love myself a mint shade. Yeah, it just seems to mess up the bristles when I stick it in the bottle, but there we go. That is a lovely shade. Again, not nearly as blue as it's coming off on camera. It is a saturated, almost neon-ish, like bleached neon mint. So that'll go in the keep pile. That was Island Girls, possibly Hannah Coast, going in the keep pile. All right, next up, ooh, we have another Nail Nation 3000, so another indie. This one is called Not So Jaded. And this one is a green, although I think it still needs a shake. I'm seeing two different tones. I'm seeing down here a bit more of a yellow green and up here more of a blue green. So I'm curious what the tone of this is actually going to be. I'm assuming based on the name that they were going for sort of a jade green. So you've got sort of that teal lean to it with maybe a pinch of yellow. Huh. Well, it's got a load of hollow, and that hollow is very beautiful. You can see that beautiful linear flare there. This is another one that I know I don't have, so this will go in the keep pile. That is Nail Nation 3000, Not So Jaded. Next up, we have another Nicole by OPI. This one is called Berry Sweet, and this one is sort of a berry-leaning velvety red. So this is another kind of a color that I do like. I actually really like the brush on this one. I don't recall them having such a different brush from OPI. Look at that, sort of a flat, wider brush. That is another stunning shade. As you can see there on the neck, you do have that sort of a ever so slightly berry tint to the base. So again, I'm adding another red to the keep pile. This is surprising. Like I keep saying, I do want to see which ones I end up liking. So I want to make sure to compare all of the ones that I am slightly drawn to because this is a color category that is definitely lacking in my current collection. So that's going to go in the keep pile, at least until I can do all of the comparisons of those reds. That is Nicole by OPI's Berry Sweet. Next up, we have another OPI, and this one is called Marooned on the Subway. And this is a beautiful shade. Look at that. So this is kind of a deep, well, maroon color. It's sort of a berry leaning red. Very interesting color. This is a cream formula. Another that I don't think I already own yet. Look at that. Oh yeah, it's got that sort of a mix between a berry, a red, and a brick. It's not as bricky as I feel like it's coming off on camera, but it does have that sort of a bricky lean to it. Very unusual color. So another going in the keep pile, another red. Imagine that. This has kind of been a surprising keep pile here, but that is OPI's Marooned on the Subway going in the keep pile. Next up, we have another Wet n Wild, and this one is called Bijou Blue. Okay, another bottle of Bijou Blue. We had a bottle of this from the last video, and I believe I ended up destashing it. I was pretty confident that I did already own a bottle, and if I didn't, I wasn't too worried about destashing it because I feel like I have a lot in this color range. So I'm going to stick with that assumption and go ahead and put this one in the destash. That is Wet n Wild's Bijou Blue. Next up, we have an Essie, and this one is called Playdate. This is another I know I have. I remember specifically going through some Essies on one of the resale sites, and they had a bunch on clearance, and I ended up grabbing quite a few, and I believe Playdate was one of them. It is a really nice shade of this lavender tone of purple. So since I already own a bottle, I don't need a second one. This one will go in the destash. That was Essie's Playdate. Next up, we have a Maybelline in their Color Show line, and this one is called Shocking Seas. And this one is sort of a slate dusty blue. This is another that's not exactly the most exciting shade. It does appear to be slightly squishy, which is interesting for this kind of a color. But yeah, I don't know, I'm just not that drawn to it. I feel like I already have a few dusty slate blues, so this one will go in the D-stash. That one is Maybelline's Shocking Seas. Next up, we have a Sally Hansen in their Sugar Shimmer line. This one is called Work of Tarte, and I'm pretty sure I have this one too. I ended up grabbing a couple in this line when I found them at, I think, Grocery Outlet back in Reno. So I do already have a couple. I think I'll put this one in the Do I Have It pile just to make sure that I'm not confusing this with another one of their Sugar Shimmer colors, because this is really pretty. It's a greenish aqua with a load of green and gold and maybe even some pink shimmer in it. And because it is the Sugar Shimmer line, it will dry to a textured finish similar to the Zoya Pixie Dusts, or there's Liquid Sand from OPI, and then there's the Gumdrop line from Nicole by OPI. So another textured polish. I'm going to put this in the Do I Have It pile just to make sure that I do already have it. It is Sally Hansen's Work of Tarte. Next up, we have another Maybelline, and this one is called, this one has lost its little sticker. It does have a number, WB131, but this is a really interesting color. It's sort of this dusty green blue. There's a purpley pink shimmer. Yeah, look at that green tone that you're seeing on the wand there. That is intriguing. And I love the shimmer. So this is another one I'm going to have to figure out if I can find out the name of it, but this is a very interesting color, very reminiscent of an indie, coming from a mainstream, which I always find impressive. So that's going to go in the keep pile. That is an unknown Maybelline. All right, just a few more, you guys. The next one is a Silver Sally Hansen called Celeb City. And this one is a larger particled silver metallic. Ooh, seems to have gotten a little bit on the neck, so it's not exactly in wonderful working shape. Well, I take that back. It's not super bad, but it does need a bit of a cleanup around the neck. There you can see that sort of a metallic-y chrome-esque look on the brush and wand there, and it's definitely opaque. I mean, you can't see any of the brush peeking through there at all. So this is another one that I want to at least see compared to all of the other silver chrome colors that I have, just to compare it to that Revlon that was also chrome. You can see that there's a very big difference between the particle sizes. You've got much more of a finely milled metallic in the Revlon, whereas you've got that larger particle size in the Sally Hansen. So that's going to go in the keep pile as well. Sally Hansen's Celeb City. Next up, we have another OPI, and this one is called Russian Ruby. Ooh. So this is another one that seems to be an older bottle, possibly, and this is a deep pink leaning red. Rubies can have that sort of a pink lean to them, which I think they sort of played up in this polish, and you have a pink shimmer. This is lovely. It's another that I know I don't have. Ooh, this one's a bit on the thick side. It is definitely going to need some thinner to help thin it down, but look how glowy that is. Wow, that's another going in the keep pile. That is stunning. We'll have to see how red or pink it actually ends up being once it's swatched, but I want to see how it compares to all of the other colors in my collection, so that's going to go in the keep pile. That is OPI's Russian Ruby. Next up, we have this little guy from, I think, OPI, and it is their Rapid Dry top coat. So this is another one that will go in the keep pile. It seems to be about half used, but there's maybe enough to combine with the other bottle of this that I think we got already. So that'll go in the keep pile. I'll probably end up combining the bottles. All right, just three more. The next one is an Essie, and this one is called Swing Velvet. And this one is a beautiful shade. This base is more like a very deep purpley plum, and then it is jam-packed full of that red velvety shimmer. Look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. It's definitely not quite as dark as I feel like it's coming off on camera. That deepness that you're seeing is a deeper tone, but it still is a purpley look to it. It is really gorgeous. This is another one I'm pretty sure I don't have, so you guessed it, it's going in the keep pile. That is Essie's Swing Velvet. Two more. The next one is an Estee Lauder. This one is called Rosa Rosa. And this one is sort of a grandma mauve shade, which I love. Let's see how this looks. Oh, this one is probably very empty. Seems to be pretty well used and a bit clumpy. So we'll have to put this in the Can I Fix It pile. See if I can't figure out if there's even any left in this one. But it is a very nice shade. The likelihood is though, even if I could get this fixed, I probably would destash it. Mainly because I do like these Grandma Mauve shades and I have probably quite a lot in my current collection. And I've probably already kept some in this haul already. But that is a very nice one. Well, again, we'll have to put this one in the Can I Fix It pile, but that was Estee Lauder's Rosa Rosa. All right, guys, the last one of this haul is an OPI, and this one is called Black Cherry Chutney. And this one is a deep purple with a fuchsia shimmer to it. Look at that. That's got a nice glow to it. So this is another older bottle. Pretty nice brush, though. And it does seem to be in pretty good working order. Hopefully, again, this isn't just coming off as a black polish. It is definitely a dark, vampy purple. Very, very pretty. I love the shimmer that you're seeing in there as well. That brighter pink that's popping up against that deep purple. So this is another one that I don't think I have, but I'm kind of second guessing myself because the name kind of sounds familiar. It's possible I may have found one in that salon haul of nail polish. So we're going to put this in the Do I Have It pile, and I'll just try to check and see if I did already get a bottle. But that is OPI's Black Cherry Chutney. All right, so there we have it. That ends part number 39 of this huge estate haul and our last video of the unboxing of all of the polishes. We ended this video with 68 bottles of nail polish and even 2 bonus items of Lancome eyeshadow. That was definitely a surprise. Let me know down below which ones were your favorites. I know we ended up with quite a lot of really nice OPIs in this video. I mean, look at that. We have a full row just of the ones that I'm keeping. So it was OPI day for sure, but we did get some good Revlons, a Pure Ice. And I think one of my favorites actually came from Sally Hansen in their Color Therapy line. That was really beautiful, a very nice shimmery purple. So I hope you guys had fun going over all of this polish in this huge haul of over 2,000 bottles. Again, I will have a total count when I do the overview of all of the polish that I got in this haul. I'll have the total count, then I'll have it broken down by brand, and then which ones I kept, which ones I destashed, and all of that. Again, a huge thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in, so to speak, for all of these, and for all of your comments too, about each polish, about the brands, and any of the questions that I may have posed throughout the video. It's helpful not just to me, but to anybody else that's viewing and reads the comments. So a huge thank you again to each and every one of you. Also, we have passed 2,000 subscribers, so a huge thank you for that as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit the little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. You can also click the little bell for notification. That way YouTube will let you know each time I upload a new video. After this, I will probably cut back to 3 videos a week. I've been doing 4, 2 during the week and then 2 on the weekends. So I will probably end up changing that back to 2 during the week and 1 on the weekends. But if you have that little bell notification turned on, YouTube will just let you know anytime I post a video. And I think we're going to wrap it up there. 68 bottles in our last haul video for this series. Again, a huge thank you for being here. Hopefully you had a good time and enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in that next one.